Hi everyone, my name is Marie, and you're listening to the 4th episode of the PB&J podcast, where I document the life and times of an entry-level product designer in 20-minute episodes every Sunday. The audio is weird today for some reason. I recorded a few sample clips before now, and they're sounding kind of weird. I don't know why, but I'm sorry in advance, guys. Just bear with me. So into today's episode, I got my very first comment on my last podcast episode, and it was a comment from my dear friend Damola, and she commented basically on me taking up my first leadership role. Thank you so much. I also got a few messages on LinkedIn. Oh my gosh, I have listeners. What's going on? I got a few messages on LinkedIn. Thank you everybody that has reached out so far. I'm so grateful. Thank you for listening and for all your advice and support. It means a lot. Thank you. Yeah, so for today's episode, I want to talk about my lows. So I feel like so far I've talked a lot about my wins. Oh my God, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's been so great. I'm so excited. But I haven't highlighted my lows, which I think is very important to mention and document, of course. And without highs, obviously, without highs, you can't have lows. And without lows, you can't have highs, I think. I'm not sure if that's the same, but you get what I mean. Yeah, so I want to gist you guys about some L's I've taken this past week. So let's start off with the leadership role I've taken up. So to be honest, so far so good. It's been great. My team members have been super cooperative. I think I'm doing a good job so far. However, we're currently facing a blocker, which is not being able to find a school. So the whole point of this drive is to speak at a community. It doesn't necessarily have to be a school. It can be a religious community, religious organization, a school, preferably a secondary school, any community where young women are gathered. Essentially, you can speak, you can have the drive at, right? For those of you that haven't listened or don't get what I'm talking about, I talked about the Tech Girls Drive that I am doing in my previous episode. So if you're lost on the context, you can go back to my last episode and listen and know what's up. Or I'll just, I guess, briefly talk about it here. So I'm carrying out the Tech Girls Drive with a group of women. It's part of our graduation requirement for the Women Techsters Fellowship program, and I'm currently leading my team. Yeah, so that's basically what it is. So we're stuck on finding a school. We've reached out to a few. We've reached out to some public schools, some private schools. Haven't been super receptive. I keep getting holding responses for the public schools. In fact, some public schools haven't even responded. Then private schools, some private schools haven't even responded. But for the public schools, there's a whole process, there's protocols to it, and it requires you reaching out to the education district for that area. And you know how that goes when you have to involve the Nigerian government into these things. It's going to take a long time to get approval. So we've been focusing on private schools, but still trying our luck with the public school and getting approval. But so that's the current blocker. And it's a major blocker because we can't do anything without approval from the school to speak to the students. Do you get what I mean? So so that's that about that. Apart from that, it's been okay so far. I put it on my CV. I put the leadership experience on my CV. So that's one, I guess, L. Another L. So update on the mentorship program thing that I applied for. I also mentioned this in my previous episode. If you haven't listened to my previous episode, you should probably listen so that you know what I'm talking about. But I'll also briefly talk about it and give context right now. So last week I applied for a mentorship program organized by Cora Pay, which is a fintech, and it was in commemoration of International Women's Day. So they essentially pair you to a mentor that's in the field your career field, and you get a session with the mentor or multiple sessions depending on the vibe and whether or not your mentor is willing to have that relationship long term, the mentor-mentee relationship long term. But yeah, so I had my first mentorship session on Monday, and so prior to the mentorship session, I was made to believe that the mentee would be doing a lot of the heavy lifting, which makes sense, So it's the mentee's responsibility to reach out to the mentor, send an email to the mentor and say, yo, let's set up a meeting. This is what we want to talk about. And essentially come up with questions to ask your mentor, right? So I had already prepped my questions. I already sent an email. I was ready to carry the conversation, because I really thought it was just going to be a conversation, give me tips, tricks, whatever. But then I hopped on the mentorship call, and it was so much deeper than that, which was great, honestly. Like nothing, it was great. Like I didn't expect it. I was pleasantly surprised, if anything. Yeah, so, and just off the bat, the vibe was super chill. It was super chill vibes. It was very friendly, and it was a lovely conversation. What kind of caught me off guard was the interview questions. So I didn't prepare for the questions I was asked. So I was asked this very popular interview question: what challenge, I can't remember the exact question, but essentially it's, what challenge have you come across that was insurmountable, that you overcame? Or, oh my god, no way, my dog is barking right now. I'm so sorry, you guys. Please pardon the audio is just bad today. Please pardon me. So that was the question, and I was super blank. I even said something, I think, to stall for a bit, but I truly did not have anything in my head to say, because I've been through a lot of challenges, but I don't know which is relevant to talk about in that instance, right? And I was trying to remember what I said in the last, because this was a question that was asked in the last interview I had. The last job, like the interview for my current role, this was a question that was asked. I was trying to remember what I said then. But, thank God for growth and, growth, right? So something that was a challenge to me in the past, looking back now, I'm like, damn, I can't believe that was a challenge. That was such a mediocre issue to be crying about. So when I tried to remember what I said in my interview, the interview I had for my current role, I was like, this is not, like, there's no way, it's not relevant to the situation, to this instance with my mentor, and I don't know if I even remember the story. You get what I mean? So I answered, I went with that story, but I'm pretty sure I got some things mixed up, but I eventually gave the whole gist of the story, but I just kept rambling, and I'm pretty sure nothing was making sense, honestly. But yeah, I just rambled on, and I definitely flunked that question. But so I will say, you guys, if by any chance you have the opportunity to have a session with a mentor, it's best to be over-prepared. I wasn't prepared for interview questions, but yeah, it shocked me that day, and I had to deal with that. But it was just so that the whole point of that was so that she could get an idea of who I am as a person, so she can, so she knows whether or not she wants to keep up the mentor-mentee relationship long term, or if she wants to mentor me long term, which honestly makes sense, right? But I just was not prepared for that, you guys. I was not prepared for that. And it was so funny. In my head, I was like, oh my God, I'm saying rubbish, but I can't stop. I just have to keep going. And I just kept rambling and rambling. But yeah, so that happened. It was so embarrassing. But I mean, before that, the conversation was great. After that, the conversation was still great because I didn't let that ruin the tone of the conversation, or, I just was like, oh my, it has happened. We move. That instance doesn't define like me as a person, so I didn't really let it get to me, but it was embarrassing in the moment. Okay, so I will say, you guys, better to be over prepared than under prepared, or better to be over prepared than just prepared. So yeah, so that was something that happened, and that was kind of an L. Not too much of an L, because it was a great conversation at the end of the day, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity. And I really like my mentor. She's super cool, and she has been super helpful so far, and she's really proactive about like my growth, and I love that. I'm really looking forward to future sessions. So yeah, so that's something that happened. What else? I also chopped a major L at work, you guys. It's even still fresh. But yeah, it's the type of L where you're like, okay, I need to start applying for other jobs. When you make a mistake at work and the next day you want to quit and apply for other jobs. Yeah, that was like the kind of L I chopped at work. And it's so annoying because I haven't chopped an L at work in a long time. So this is the first L in a long time, and it was so yeah, I mean, it happens. We're human. We make mistakes. MTN happens. If you know, you know. So yeah, so that happened. But I am rising above and just doing better. Yeah. So there's that. I feel like there's something else I meant to mention, but I just can't remember right now. I mean, yeah, so like just generally I've been feeling so anxious about my journey. I've been feeling so overwhelmed with everything because it's a lot. I know in my last episode I was super excited. Oh my God, let's go. I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited for that. I don't know what I was on in the last episode, but now currently I'm feeling very overwhelmed. I think it's an up and down thing. It fluctuates. Some days I'm like, yeah, let's go, I'm ready for this, and other days I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Like, why do I have to work this hard to get to where I want to be? Why can't it just be smooth sailing? Why? So yeah, so right now I feel very burnt out and overwhelmed. So that's, I mean, not an L, it's human, right? But that's just like where I'm at currently. So yeah, but I mean, better days ahead for sure. This isn't the first time I felt overwhelmed, and I felt good after then. So I know that there are better days ahead. So yeah, so that's where I'm at currently. And oh yeah, today I applied for an internship role at Money Point. So I didn't even know this was a thing. And funny enough, I found out about the job really late, like today. I found out about it last night, and the deadline is today. Yeah. So I had to rush, get my resume in order, get to write a cover letter. I was up all night. I slept by 3 a.m. getting all of that sorted so that I could apply for the role. So it's internship role. It's internship roles for various fields. There's UI UX, so I applied for the UI UX intern role. And it's a 6-month program. You get to be mentored for 6 months. Eventually you have the opportunity to be a full-time staff at the end of the 6 months. But I'll link it in the description bar so that you can check it out if you're interested. The deadline is today, but if you just want to find out what that's about, then I'll link it in the description bar. So yeah, I applied for that today, and I don't know. I feel like my chances are slim, but I'm hopeful still. I should at the very least, make it to stage 2. If I don't make it to stage 2, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna be so sad, but I guess we'll see how it goes. I expect to at the very least, stage 2, the technical assessment stage. Let me at least get to that stage, then I can feel confident that okay, I think I'm doing okay. I'm not doing too bad. But yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. I'm hopeful. I'm not super. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm just being hopeful. But yeah, so there's that. What else? Oh yeah, capstone project. That has been going okay so far. Kind of slow, but we're making progress. And I can already foresee the amount of work that we have to do. I've already set up the design systems template. What do we call it? A Figma page for my fellow product designers on the project to work on building the design system so that we can get something done. And yeah, I'm just trying to be proactive because it's really we're given a really short time to accomplish like a major task. So yeah, wish us luck. Wish us luck. But yeah, so I think that's about it. That's been going on with me currently. Some of my L's, and I guess some of my L's this past week. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say, and I have to close out now because I have to get to work, and also it's almost 20 minutes. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to this one. I hope you listen to the next one and the ones after that. I appreciate your support so far. Stay tuned for episode 5 next week. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.